Chairwoman, this is a regular scheduled meeting of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission, 2023 annual meeting schedule. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Senator Byron M. Bear Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of the meeting was provided to the Asbury Park Press, Atlantic City Express, Bergen Record, Courier Post, Star Ledger, and the Trenton Times on January 11th, 2023. The agenda and information regarding the meeting was also posted on the CRC website. The meeting time and location has also been posted on the website of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission and with the Office of the Secretary of State.
Thank you. Everyone will silence their phones. That's great. Mr. Lamb, can you please take a roll call?
Commissioner Barker,
Present.
Commissioner Del Cid-Coso,
Present.
Commissioner Nash,
Present.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Present.
Chairwoman Wayne New.
Present.
All members of the commissioner are present, and we now have a quorum. The first order of business is for the commission to go into executive session to discuss legal matters and litigation updates. These are discussions that are not shared with the public. We believe the executive session should take about 45 minutes.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session?
Madam Chairwoman, I move that the commission moves to executive session.
Moved by Vice Chair Delgado. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid-Coso. Is there any discussion on the motion to go into executive session? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. The commission will now go into executive session. Again, we expect this to last approximately 45 minutes. For those watching at home, the live stream will continue running. Staff that do remain in the room will not be able to answer questions about the agenda items or items that may come before the commission. But if you need to use the restroom, they are just outside these doors. So with that, we can expect to resume the open public portion of this meeting at about 1:50 right. Thank you all for your patience. Apologies for the extra delay. The executive session has now ended, and we'll resume the open public portion of our meeting. Time is 2:07. So with that, Ms. Joanna, can you please announce the next agenda item?
Next up on the agenda is approving the minutes of both commissions' open session and executive session held on February 8th, 2023. The minutes have been shared and reviewed by the members of the commission prior to this meeting.
Thank you. If there are no questions or recommendations for changes to the meeting minutes from the board, I will ask for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 8th.
Madam Chairwoman, I move that we approve the minutes.
Moved by Vice Chair Delgado,
Seconded.
seconded by Commissioner Nash. Is there any discussion on approving the meeting minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the February 8th meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? All right, the motion is carried.
Next on the agenda is the chair's report.
Thank you. And so I just have a couple of items, a couple of reminders, and then one note that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the meeting. So we do have an update on the agenda for today. Item number 6 is being removed, and so that will be considered at a future board meeting as appropriate. But that just should make today's board meeting go a little bit faster. That's the only update on today's agenda. A couple of reminders. So the board has adopted its final rules that include additional cannabis business licenses. That is to be published in the New Jersey Register on March 6th. So be on the lookout for that, for the exact language for the final regulations. Also, I want to remind folks that the board's proposed rules concerning cannabis consumption areas is still in the public comment period. So please go to our website and submit your comments on our proposed rules for cannabis consumption areas. That 60-day public comment period will end on March 18th, so you only have a couple more weeks. And then lastly, I want to remind everyone that the CRC is publishing the list of applications that are under consideration by the board at an upcoming board meeting. So please go to the website to get a full list on the public meeting page. There should be a hyperlink within the agenda that links to the list of applications that are up for consideration. That should also help bring some relief to our applicants, but also dispel any fake reports about who is allegedly going to be voted on by the board. And that is all I have for the chair's report.
Next on the agenda is the executive director's report.
Director Brown, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairwoman Waino. Going to keep this short and sweet. Just have a couple updates. First, I wanted to update the board and also the public on new dispensary openings in the medicinal market. So over the past several months, we've had a number of new dispensaries approved for permitting to open up. Many have opened. These include Design 710, NJ Leaf, Block opened a satellite location, Aunt Mary's, Holistic Solutions, Valley Wellness, and Sweet Spot. These are all, with the exception of Block, 2019 RFA awardees. They're opening their doors to serve patients, new medical access points. So please check them out if you are a patient in the program. Number of minority-owned businesses, number of women-owned businesses as well. And also Harmony Dispensary in Secaucus was issued their license to expand to recreational sales and have begun serving both medicinal and recreational customers. As we've shared before, patient access remains a priority, so we'll be looking at Harmony and other approved expanded ATCs to make sure they're holding up their end of the bargain when it comes to patient access. Next slide, please. Otherwise, just a broad application update here for recreational cannabis applications. We've now received over 1,647 applications. Only 51 of those have yet to advance to completeness review, and that's because there's some issue with the priority under which they applied and the information that they supplied. So our team is working to process these applications. The vast majority remain conditional applications, but we are seeing, as I shared at the last board meeting, an increase in conditional conversion applications, conversion to annuals. We've now received over 175 of those applications, which is really encouraging. And most of those started to come in towards the end of last year, so those applications are moving through licensing, through investigations, and then eventually you'll see those start popping up on board agendas. But we are moving through them expeditiously. I think licensing is moving through things in a 90-day time frame at this point, and investigations can run anywhere from 30 to 90, potentially more, depending on the application. As I mentioned, more conditionals are applying to convert. This 162 number is old because we are, as of today, up over 175. And next slide, please. 32 conditional up for consideration today, and 32 conditional applications, 1 conditional to annual conversion application, and 16 annual applications. And then finally, a breakdown of the applications types that we're seeing submitted. And again, the lion's share remain conditional applications, which is the first step to get into the market, but we are seeing most of the applications as Class 5 retailers, next led by Class 1 cultivators and Class 2 manufacturers. We are still seeing people submit for wholesaler, distributor, and delivery. Those are not open yet, as the chair shared. The rules need to be published. Then our notice of application needs to be updated. It would be voted on by the board here at a public meeting, and that will outline the timeline and the process for those new application types. And then lastly, self-attestation on the applications. 72% attesting to be diversity owned, which includes minority and women, disabled veteran or women-owned businesses, 25% social equity businesses, and 43% impact zone businesses. And that is the extent of my report for today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Director Brown. Are there any questions from the board for Director Brown about his report? All right, hearing none. Ms. Joanna, can you please move on to the next agenda item?
Next up on the agenda is the consideration of conditional licenses.
All right, Director Brown, you have the floor to provide a summary of the applications that have been received and staff's recommendations.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Chair. And please just, you can scroll through the list as I'm talking here. There are 32 conditional applications recommended for approval by the Board of Commissioners. They have all been assigned a priority based on the application type, with social equity businesses receiving the highest overall priority, then diversity owned businesses, then impact zone, then bonus points, then just general applications, first for conditionals and then for annuals. That priority has been verified. They've been reviewed for completeness. They've been scored. These applications have scored sufficiently high to be approved for licensure. These conditional applicants have then been reviewed, an initial qualification, limitations, financial management / agreement review. We've conducted quality control, and finally they are recommended for approval by the Board of Commissioners here today.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the board for Director Brown regarding his recommendations? If not, then I will ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to move these conditional license applications for Class 1 cannabis cultivator, Class 2 cannabis manufacturer, and Class 5 cannabis retail licenses.
Moved by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there a second on this motion?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Barker. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Ms. Joanna, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado.
Yes.
Chairwoman Wayne.
Yes.
The resolution passes. Next item for consideration are conditional conversion applications.
Director Brown?
Yes.
Pass it back over to you.
Thank you. Similarly, we only have one conditional conversion up at this meeting. The name is on the slide there. They reviewed for priority. That priority was verified. They were reviewed for completeness, found to be complete, scored sufficiently high to be recommended for approval. The applicants were reviewed for limitations. Any financial and management agreements that are proposed as of right now were reviewed. And then a qualification review was conducted. This includes a criminal history background check as well as a background investigation into the proposed owners and other key individuals, persons of interest. Finally, our team conducted quality control, and this application is recommended for approval by the CRC board.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Director Brown from the board regarding this recommendation? Hearing none, do I hear a motion? No motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the conditional license conversion to the annual license.
Moved by Vice Chair Delgado. Thank you for stepping up to the plate there.
No problem.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Poso. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Ms. Joynham, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Nay.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Abstain.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wayne.
Yes.
The resolution passes. Next item for consideration are annual license applications.
Director Brown, I will get back to you for discussion of the annual license applications that have been received and staff's recommendations.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to go over, similarly, the process here is like those for conditional conversions, because the conversions are a conversion to an annual license. So they are assigned a priority. That priority is verified. They are then reviewed for completeness to make sure everything has been submitted required by regulation and the notice of application acceptance. They're then scored. These applications have scored sufficiently high to be approved. They are reviewed for any regulatory limitations and financial management agreements that exist as proposed at this time. And then finally, there's a qualification review conducted, which includes criminal history background checks as well as a background investigation into the proposed owners and persons of interest. We conduct quality control, and then these 14 applications have gone through that process and are recommended for approval by the CRC board.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board for Director Brown regarding staff's recommendations on these applications for an annual license? Hearing no questions, do I hear a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the resolution for consideration of annual license applications for Class 1, Class 2 manufacturing licenses.
Moved by Commissioner Nash. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Delgado. Is there any discussion on this motion?
Brief discussion, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Barker, you have the floor.
Just very concerned. We're at another month, another meeting, and based on my review, 11 of the 14 annuals up for proposed awards today are majority owned by white applicants. There are 0 majority owned by Latina applicants, and there is 1 out of 14 majority owned by a black applicant. And I hope we can do better. I'm confident we can do better. I know we want to do better, and I'm looking forward to that.
Commissioner Barker, I'll just ask in response for you to clarify the "we." So
Oh,
because the CRC, the board simply reviews the applications that have been submitted and are presented before it, can you elaborate on what you're hoping to see improve? Because obviously we as the board members can't control the makeup of these businesses, but I want to make sure that it's very clear.
I don't want to misspeak, Madam Chairwoman, but I think when I say we, I mean the entire CRC, the board and staff together, prioritizing and promoting awardees that reflect the diversity and inclusion that we say we want to see. Prioritizing those most harmed by black and brown, those most harmed by the fair war on drugs, especially our black and brown people. We have expressed that. We have, exhaustively, reiterated to the public that this is our commitment, and we're working it. It's just not being reflected in our proposed awards, and so I would like a better understanding of why, and I'm hopeful that we can get there.
Since you have asked for a better understanding of the why, I'll see if Director Brown, if you have anything to respond to the what Commissioner Barker has laid out here.
So I can just say that and I don't have the exact numbers here, but we have our next data update in April, where we will again be presenting on the majority ownership of owners, the race, ethnicity of POIs, persons of interest involved in the industry. I would point people to our website, where we do have a host of data slides related to demographics of our license holders or license awardees. We conducted a review, I think finalized it after the last board meeting, and 25% of the license awards were majority black-owned businesses. And so we'll include these in that. I think that of today's, and this is publicly available information that can be searched, I believe of today's proposed awardees, including the conditional conversion, there are 12 of them are diversely owned businesses. I think 7 are either minority owned or minority and women owned, but that will be included in the data report that we issue. And again, April's our next quarterly data report, so we'll have full data to present to the entire Board of Commissioners as well as the public.
And so I'll just add for the discussion, Commissioner Barker, I think the entire board shares the vision of wanting to see a diverse industry, but of course, the board cannot control who is applying and the makeup of those business entities. And so staff have articulated the priority review process and the process that applications go through, the stages that the applications go through in being reviewed by the staff and then presented to the board. The desire to see a diverse and inclusive industry, I think, is shared by all of the board members. But at the end of the day, the CRC cannot control or dictate who is actually submitting the applications. So I think there is impetus for our prospective applicants. If you want to apply, please do so. We make a ton of resources available on our website. We have demo videos, easy one-pagers, and a lot of resources and assistance that is available for our prospective applicants to help them along the process, to help them understand what the process looks like, and help them get connected to any resources that they would need to support their endeavors and support them in their journey to stand up a cannabis business. So please certainly submit your applications. We want to see everyone who wants to join us on this regulated industry have an opportunity to do so, and do so in a meaningful way.
Madam Chair, can I just make a
I'll
brief?
kick it to, I'll let Commissioner Del Coso chime in first, and then Commissioner Barker.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just to piggyback on you, Madam Chair, and I have to give credit to our ODI Director, Wesley McWhite, for a lot of the work that he's been doing, and I know that you and I have a lot of communication almost every week about the work that you're doing in the ground, setting a lot of round tables with different stakeholder groups. And as a matter of fact, we're doing a conversation with the National Hispanic Caucus next Tuesday to, again, motivate Latinos, Black and brown applicants to submit their applications. There's a lot of help out there now, starting with NJBAC's technical assistance programs and EDAs. So again, I have to agree with you, Madam Chair, that it is the CRC's mission to continue to fight for social equity in this industry. Thank you.
Commissioner Barker?
I do believe, and I can double check this, but I do believe the CREAM Act gives the CRC the authority to determine and make decisions based on what the market needs and what the market demands. And I think based on the bill, I think based on the failed war on drugs, I think based on everything and some of the main reasons why we legalize cannabis in every state, is to address the harm to certain groups, specifically Black and brown groups. And the market needs and demands more Black and brown businesses in order to establish an equitable foundation. And so I do think if we're not seeing that, I believe, have the power to go slower and not necessarily roll it out in a manner that creates more market opportunity, but maybe not equitable opportunity. And so that's where I'm coming from. If we're not seeing it, I do think we can be more patient until it's a more level playing field, so that when we propose awardees, there's parity and people are starting on equal footing. And that's the point that I'm trying to express.
Vice Chair Delgado?
Yeah, look, I think we could be more patient, but how do we know if the businesses can be more patient? These businesses, they have to pay their landlord, they have to pay their legal fees, they have to pay the consulting fees. For example, in this what we just approved, there was only one African-American business, majority owned. But if we had moved against that and not approved this, that one African-American business wouldn't be able to open business. So, I understand what you're saying, Commissioner Brown. I mean, excuse me, Charles. Charles, I totally understand what you're saying. But if we had not approved this, again, that one African-American business would not be able to open, would not have opened, will not go forward to be open. So, we have to be judicious in our approach. That's all I'm saying.
And I'll ask Director Brown, can you actually share the numbers? Earlier you mentioned some numbers, I think 25% diversity owned business, but I want to make sure I have those numbers right. Can you just repeat the information that you shared?
So what I shared before, you're good, is that of the proposed annuals, including the conversions and the other proposed annuals today, 12 qualify as diversity owned businesses. 3 are minority owned, I believe, and 4 are minority and women owned. We will be, Director McWhite will be presenting, along with myself, the quarterly data update again in April, which will be inclusive of any awards from today as well as any previous awards. And we're committed to being totally transparent with how this market is developing, and I can tell you that this is developing to be one of the most diverse cannabis markets in the country as of right now. And credit to everybody who's working here, credit to Director McWhite and his team, credit to the Board of Commissioners here to help support the work that we're doing. But we're putting a firm foot forward here. We can always do better, and I think, Madam Chair, staff agree 100%. We always strive to do better. We always strive to make this a better process and make sure that businesses can get into the market and succeed. And we can always do better. But we've been doing very well, and I'm confident that this will improve. The fact that so many conditional conversions are coming in is really encouraging, and I think really good for the long-term prospects of this market.
Do you happen to, it's okay if you don't have this the staff don't have this number off the top of your heads, but of the total adult use license awards that the board has approved thus far, do you happen to have a breakdown of some of the diversity-owned business?
So we will have that in the data report. What we
Okay,
did,
that'll be in-
what we did share was that 25% of those awarded businesses for annual licenses, and this is not inclusive of today, are majority-owned Black or African American.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And again, that's not inclusive of the proposed awards today. But we did do a majority ownership review, and that, you know, we'll continue to do that going forward as part of our quarterly data updates. I can tell you there's not another state in the country that's releasing the level of data that we are here. We want to be transparent. We want the market to know that we're being transparent, and everybody to be, you know, have a firm idea of where we are in New Jersey.
Okay, thank you. And with those numbers, I'm very encouraged by those numbers that you're sharing, Director Brown, and I'm proud to be one of the commissioners who to help those businesses move forward, and so that we can actually see the inclusive industry take shape. Is there any further discussion on this motion with respect to annual license applications? Vice Chair Delgado?
Only that it's never going to be perfect.
Agreed. Agreed. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. Ms. Joynham, can you please call the vote on the motion to approve the annual license applications?
Commissioner Barker,
Nay.
Commissioner Del Cid-Cosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The resolution passed. Next item for consideration are the annual applications for Clad 9 New Jersey LLC. Commissioner Del Cid-Cosa has recused herself from application number 1008 and number 1060 from Clad 9 New Jersey LLC due to a prior working relationship. On account of her recusal, she will step out of the room while the board considers these particular applications. Afterwards, Commissioner Del Cid-Cosa will come back in and will take up the next order of business.
Thank you, Ms. Joynham. So with Commissioner Del Cid-Cosa now out of the room, Director Brown, I will kick it to you to provide a summary and staff's recommendations on these two particular applications.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to note for the record that the exact same process was followed for these two applications as the previous 14. There's no difference. They scored sufficiently high. They were deemed complete, reviewed for qualifications, reviewed for limitations, management services, agreements, financial sources. We conducted quality control, and it's recommended for approval by the CRC Board of Commissioners.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board regarding the recommendation on these two applications, application number 1008 and 1060? Hearing no questions from the board, do I hear a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the applications for Clade 9.
There's been a motion to approve the application for Clade 9. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Delgado. Is there any discussion on this motion with respect to Clade 9 on these two particular applications? Hearing no discussion, Ms. Joynham, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Nay.
Commissioner Del Cid-Cosa is recused. Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Enthusiastically, yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The resolution passes. Next item for consideration is the expansion certification for Block.
Thank you. Director Brown, can you please provide a summary on the expanded ATC certification received from Block?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. So we have for consideration by the Board of Commissioners an ATC expansion application by Block. They are an alternative treatment center with locations in Ewing as well as Franklin Township. Like any alternative treatment center that certifies that they can expand to recreational sales, they had to submit documents proving municipal approval. They had to submit proof that they could continue to dispense to their registered patients, as well as that they have the supply on hand in order to continue to serve their medical population as well as serve additional adult use consumers. It's staff recommendation that they have met the criteria in statute to expand and in our regulations, and therefore are recommended for approval. We not only looked at their certification, but also the total patient enrollment in the state, the patient enrollment at this particular ATC, sales of medicinal cannabis and medicinal cannabis products, the canopy of this ATC, as well as the total canopy in the state, and based on the provisions in the statute and our regulations, they are recommended for approval to expand into recreational sales.
Thank you, Director Brown. Are there any?
Just quick, I just did want to
Please.
note, it is, the recommendation is for a Class 1 cultivator license as well as 2 Class 5 retailer licenses.
And for the sake of the public, can you specify the locations for?
Yes,
For those.
the Class 1 and Class 5 are in Ewing, and the additional Class 5 is in Franklin Township.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board for Director Brown on this expanded ATC certification? Hearing no questions from the board, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chairwoman, I move Block Dispensary LLC for expanded ATC conversion certification.
Moved by Vice Chair Delgado. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no further, actually, before I ask Ms. Joanne to call the vote, I'll just note that in reviewing the materials for this particular entity, I noticed that municipal ordinances might not be as explicit as they need to be. While staff have confirmed with the relevant municipal officials that municipal approval is indeed secured for this entity, I just want to take a moment to put everyone on notice and encourage municipalities to be explicit and make sure that the language of municipal ordinances is clear and accurately reflects your intent, and work with staff to make sure that any confirmation or any follow-up questions are answered in a timely manner, so that way we can make sure that we all move together and we all move with the appropriate information securely in place. That is the only comment that I have on this particular motion. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Joanne, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker?
Nay.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso?
Yes.
Commissioner Nash?
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado?
Yes.
Chairwoman Wayno?
Yes.
The resolution passes. Next, we have the open public comment period.
Thank you. So as we begin the public comment period, as always, we want to remind folks that you can submit comments in writing to the CRC via our website, nj.gov/cannabis. The deadline for submitting written comments for today's meeting is, thank you. The deadline for submitting written comments for today's meeting is 5 o'clock tomorrow, Friday, March 3rd. Written comments are shared with the commission members and made public. So speakers this afternoon will be given 3 minutes to share their comments. Please note that this is an opportunity for you all to share ideas with the CRC and address the commission about matters that we should be made aware of. Please don't use the opportunity to just simply advertise private businesses. We want to make sure this is a productive period to inform the commission about things that fall under its purview. So Ms. Joanna will call out the speakers who have registered on our website to speak. And when it is your turn, please come forward. There's a microphone here at the table. State your name very clearly for the record, and then please share your comments. And we will have the timer going on here in the corner, so just be mindful of the time. So with that, Ms. Joanna, can you please call our first speakers?
Thank you, Chairwoman. As a reminder, public speakers during this afternoon's public comment period will be limited to 3 minutes. Please be respectful and concise during your comments. Daniel McCarthy, David Fetter, Edwin Robles, Heather Kaiser,
We have, I'm so sorry, she's actually representing Empire Dispensary. We registered 2 speakers, but she would be representing Empire. Is that okay? I'm sorry, forgive me.
and her name?
Jennifer,
Jennifer Robles?
correct.
Yes, she's on
Thank you.
here. You're welcome.
I see here.
Yes, you can have a seat, there's a, right there.
Don't have to do this.
Turn it around. I'm sorry.
Don't have to do this.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
okay. Good afternoon.
Did you turn on? Good turn. The green light.
Okay.
If you
Green
press
lights
it,
on?
it should be good.
Good afternoon. No? Oh, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Robles, and I am from Empire Dispensary. We submitted an application many months ago, and like other people, we're pretty frustrated because we cannot seem to get an answer. We are a women and minority-owned business, and it seems like it's pretty important to some members of this board to have people of different cultures apply, and so we're one of them. We are bleeding money every month because we have a lease that we pay for, and we're still not getting answers from the commission about the next steps moving forward. So at this point, we have everything. We believe that we've met all of the qualifications, and we don't really know where to go from here. It seems like when we do contact the board, we understand that you're very busy, but we're not getting answers, and yet we're bleeding money every month on a lease. So we're not really sure what to do. Also, the state of New Jersey has said that this is about the small people. These are not about big corporations and people who are wealthy. We are the small people, and it seems like this is all about the wealthier communities. So we hope that the board will continue to look at our application and move the process quicker, so that way we're not bleeding money every month, because we don't have that kind of money to continue to do this. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Heather Kaiser?
Is it okay
okay if I stand? I'm more comfortable standing. Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Heather Kaiser, and I am the CEO and founding member of Cousling's Route 420 LLC. We are a true family business in that my cousin and I started this company in September of 2021. Well, we were awarded our conditional Class 5 retail license in October of 2022. While we are thrilled about this opportunity, the process has been unnecessarily difficult, and it could have been much easier and less expensive with some common sense changes to the public relations aspect of this legalization rollout. I have the time to drive here from Bergen County today and make this speech because I currently do not have a storefront, despite canvassing the state for viable
Excuse me,
options.
can you slow down a little bit?
I only have 3 minutes, and I'm
Oh.
just under 3 minutes.
Okay. Because I'm hard of hearing and you just,
I'll talk louder and
Yeah.
faster. Okay.
I'm the oldest guy on the commission. so.
I'm sorry. We have everything we need to run a successful business. We have a core staff of HR, compliance, and retail operations professionals, legal counsel on retainer, and various consultants. All of these things cost money. We have been turned down by potential landlords time and time again because they do not understand the industry. They do not understand the benefits of cannabis, the regulations the state has rightfully put in place, and they're afraid opening a shop will make their property a target for crime. The stigma surrounding cannabis is alive and well, and we are fighting every day to educate the public to no avail. We cannot do this alone. The state should have marketed the industry more effectively with educational information on the health benefits of cannabis, as well as the regulations we need to follow as an industry. A majority of citizens voted to legalize it, but they don't want it in their backyard. One example is the city of Hackensack. It has a population of approximately 45,000 people, is the capital of Bergen County, and they're allowing one retail location in a small zone on the outskirts of the city. We had a viable location there. When we reached out to the city to ask if they had given approval to another company, we were told applications were being accepted on a rolling basis. We explained that we had a space ready but couldn't sign a lease without approval. They kept us waiting for 3 months before finally telling us they had already promised the resolution to another company. That was 3 months of wasted time, energy, effort, and money out the door. We have no recourse but to start over and fight other small businesses for viable locations. We should be working together and helping each other, not playing the Hunger Games for a storefront. It is absurd that in 2023, people are afraid of a plant that can help various ailments, including side effects from cancer treatment, PTSD, anxiety, seizures, and so on. I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor who is currently on hormone therapy that is wreaking havoc on my body, and cannabis is the only thing that helps me sleep at night. We overprescribe opioids and drink tons of alcohol, which can be deadly and easily addictive, but when it comes to cannabis, the complaint I've seen the most is it smells bad. That's why people don't want it in their town. They try to argue that it's a gateway drug, but there's no such scientific proof to support that argument. They try to argue that you can overdose and die, despite the fact there are 0 documented cases of cannabis overdose leading to death. They try to argue that people will drive while high, despite the fact that this has been going on as long as cannabis has been sold and consumed illegally over the years. If the citizenry was educated on the dangers of alcohol and opioids when compared to the dangers of cannabis, they would welcome this change and I wouldn't have to be here today. Thank you for your time.
Hugh Giordano.
That. Sorry. Too much stuff going on. All right. Hello. Hello? You hear me? Hello? Oh, there it is. All right. First off, hello everybody. It's good to see everybody. Very happy to see all the approved applications. Hugh Giordano of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, UFCW, Local 360. Commission, I'm here today to talk about a good thing and some things that are still issues going on. I want to first, and I want to put on record and say that Valley Wellness, which is the first independent women-owned medical facility, has officially unionized with the UFCW. That's historic. We're proud to work with an owner such as Sarah Trent, who followed the law through and through. We were able to get this done and completed. The workers are very excited about this, and they made it very clear to me That the reason that they formed and joined the union was not because they were against their managers or against their ownership. It was because they want to make sure that these are careers. So these workers see this already as an opportunity to get a job when they're young and have a career until they can retire. And that's what they're talking about. So we're very proud that Valley Wellness did the right thing, and we would hope that folks that are looking to get their medicine, please support an employer such as Valley Wellness, because that's what we want to see in this state. So, I also just wanted to make a point that the reason I wanted to speak was to show how important these LPAs truly are. You can look at the past couple of months and type in worker violations in Google News and cannabis and see what's going on at legal facilities around this country where they may not have the right to form and join a union. So a few things I just want to bring up that you'll see when you hit those articles. Number one is immigrant violations. We're looking at violations that are happening around the country with folks from Asia, folks from Mexico and South America, and they're working at legal facilities. These are not the ones that we're hearing about that are hiding in the woods. These are legal facilities. We're seeing human trafficking. We're seeing areas where they don't have no potable water, overflowing bathrooms, even immigrant workers that they pull from other forms of agriculture living in tents on the land. And this is a problem. We're seeing also Chinese and Russian mafia influence in legal licensed facilities around the country. The reason I bring this up because it just gives the impact of why these labor peace agreements are so important, because it gives us access. Equity and safety is key, right? It's in our symbol here. Equity and safety equals unionization. Thank you.
Jonathan Hishman, Kevin Riley,
Good morning. Turn it off again? Good morning. I'm speaking to emphasize the importance of holding cannabis companies accountable for upholding their labor peace agreements with the union.
excuse me 1 second.
Yes.
Can you announce your name, please?
My name is Kevin Riley. I'm a former botanist employee now, as of yesterday. So I'm speaking to talk on the importance of upholding labor peace agreements with unions. It's crucial that companies honor their commitments under these agreements as they play a vital role in maintaining a fair and equitable workplace for employees. This includes provisions such as providing fair wages and benefits, maintaining safe working conditions, and respecting the rights of workers to organize and collectively bargain. When companies fail to uphold their labor peace agreements, it not only harms the industry as a whole, but the workers themselves. This can lead to decreased trust in the industry and a negative impact on the overall reputation of the industry. So I urge the Cannabis Regulatory Commission to prioritize the enforcement of labor peace agreements and to hold companies accountable for any violations. By upholding labor peace agreements, we can create more and just equitable cannabis industries that respect the rights of workers. And I'm here in particular to express my serious concerns about the alleged behaviors of the botanists. It's come to my attention that there's been reports of retaliation, harassment, and workforce against the workforce for speaking out against abusive managers and unsafe working conditions. Additionally, there's allegations of union-busting behavior, bad faith bargaining, and delays in negotiation with the union. I'm particularly disturbed that 8 out of 18 cultivators have been put on paid leave until they're given the word of their official layoff. Furthermore, one employee, myself, was on the negotiation committee representing the cultivation department, and he was fired. I was fired. The alleged unsafe conditions for the workers and the public are also a cause for alarm. Been reported that there are workers who have been working on an active job site without proper safety, and there's been allegations of workers being poisoned by CO2, which the company denies, and alleged presence of metal shavings, powdery mildew, and contaminant bugs and viral diseases in the flower rooms, which is not up to the standard that medical marijuana should be. They started as a medical marijuana facility. and they're happy to sell all the weed that they can, but they don't want to have safe medicine for the people that got their industry started. I thank the Cannabis Regulatory Commission for their time and respectfully urge them to take action in any way they can to put a stop to these alleged behaviors, because the safety and well-being of the workers and the public should be top priority, and any company that engages in such alleged behavior should be held accountable. Thank you.
Nadir Pearson, Nichelle Santos, Nicole Salter,
On, yay, nay? Nay. On now, okay, thanks. I'll keep it on for the next one. So my name is Nicole Salter. I am on week 3 at Sreven Laboratories in Belmar, New Jersey. And I'm here today to just ask the board to increase the awareness of third-party testing and to consider removing the maximum of 2 third-party testings for all of the cannabis growers or manufacturers, whomever, the entire industry. Testing will increase the awareness of the safety and issues that are happening to the flower or whatever, and ultimately public safety at the end of the day and consumer use is our ultimate goal. So, thank you. I kept it on.
Shannon Glover, Vinnie Whitehead, Wilder Simpson. Okay, I will repeat the names again in case I missed anyone. Daniel McCarthy, David Fetter, Jonathan Hishmick, Nadir Pearson, Nichelle Santos, Shannon Glover, Vinnie Whitehead, Wilder Simpson, Chairwoman Wing New. This will conclude the registered speakers we have for today's public meeting.
Thank you, and thank you to all of you who shared your comments, your thoughts, and your personal stories. I noticed that because there were a few who had written comments, feel free to also share those written comments with the CRC via our website, nj.gov/cannabis. If you go to our public meetings page, you will see a link to submit written comments. So this concludes the business that is before us today. Is there any new business for the board to consider? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn? No one wants to leave.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Nash and seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Costo. Thank you, the two ladies to the rescue. Is there any discussion on this motion to adjourn? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjourning say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Are there any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you all again for joining us today. Stay tuned to our website for information about our upcoming meetings. Again, submit your comments on our proposed rules for cannabis consumption areas. And the time is now 3:01 p.m. and we are adjourned. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.